NASCAR starts out the West Coast swing with Las Vegas. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We got a mile and a half. No weather. Thankfully, no weather. Gonna start off with that. There's weather for the Xfinity Series today, but no weather for the Cup Series tomorrow, so we don't have to deal with that again like we did last week. But yeah, Las Vegas preview. Got some news actually about some cars in the field and some other stuff. So yeah, but first, NASCAR made a statement regarding the crash with Ryan Newman. They did not disclose the injuries, but they did update just the effectiveness, I guess, of the safety crews and stuff. But here's what it said. It said that Steve O'Donnell says this update won't concern anything related to Ryan Newman's health or the medical response, citing privacy concerns. One interesting thing is a paramedic was inside the car with Newman starting 35 seconds after the crash, according to NASCAR. NASCAR says Newman was being treated inside the car the entire time except for when it was being turned back over. Steve O'Donnell says there wasn't a celebratory atmosphere at NASCAR, even though the safety equipment ultimately saved Newman's life. O'Donnell said, "This is our job, this is what we do, and you've got the 40 drivers in the garage area who expect to do this every day." So that is a statement from NASCAR and Steve O'Donnell. But that's just news on that. But on to the race. There's actually some cars that failed inspection and were handed penalties. The 9 car of Chase Elliott failed pre-qualifying inspection twice. Car chief has been ejected from Las Vegas, and he will lose 15 minutes of practice time next week at Auto Club. And then also, there was according to Bob Pockrass, there was a Bondo/body issue for the Toyota teams. I think it was a nose issue, if my information is correct from Twitter. I saw somewhere that had to do something with the nose. And so the penalty is for Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Christopher Bell. All 3 teams were handed L1 penalties, which means they have to start at the back of the field, and they also lose 10 driver and owner points. So not a great start to the weekend for them. And also the Toyotas have not been that great this weekend. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah. Smithley's car failed inspection. Garrett Smithley's car failed inspection 3 times, so he's starting in the back. And qualifying got rained out, so we're going to go off last year's points to start the race. That's all the news I got. Now let's actually get into the race preview. Las Vegas last year, 2 races. The winners were Joey Logano in the spring, Martin Truex Jr. in the fall. Obviously 2 different races, the spring in the sun, and in the fall it was at night, so definitely different with that regard. I don't know about the temperatures and that stuff, but definitely different with that regard, the day versus night. But something interesting in both races was Joey Logano. Joey Logano won the spring race last year. He also led over 100 laps in the fall race before, I think he was in a crash or something, but he still managed to get a top 10 in the fall. Had a really strong car both times there. I think he's someone you got to look out for. The other Penske cars as well, I think Brad Keselowski has a few wins at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ryan Blaney with Todd Gordon. Blaney, he hasn't won at Las Vegas, but Todd Gordon has won there. And obviously last year, Todd Gordon had 2 really good cars that he was able to put together. So it'll be interesting to see how Blaney does there. Other cars to look for, there were some really fast cars in practice. Almirola and Boyer, I believe, had really fast cars in both practices, both in the top 3 in both practices. So they have very fast cars. This weekend, Matt DiBenedetto has a fast car, 6th in first practice. 6th in first practice, and then second practice he was 5th. So he had some good laps that he was turning. Obviously, the race is going to be different, but there were some good cars there, or some good speeds there. Jimmy Johnson, nice to see him win, but yeah, he's one of a few guys who've won at Las Vegas before him. Truex, Harvick, Logano, Keselowski, Kyle Busch. Kurt Busch hasn't won here, but he would love to. It's his home track. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all goes. But I think it's a normal 1.5 mile race. I'm expecting that. First real race of the season after Daytona. It's your first normal track with your normal packages. And just how the cars go. So it'll be really the starting point of the season, even though last week was, this week is. You get my point. But yeah, my pick for the race, I'm going to go with Joey Logano. I think he wins his second consecutive spring Las Vegas race. As I said, really fast car last year. And even though he's got a new crew chief this year with Paul Wolf, I think that he's got a good enough driver, and Paul Wolf's a good crew chief. I think that duo can still get it done. But yeah, got Joey Logano winning this thing. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes this weekend. But yeah, as I said, Toyota's got penalized. They didn't do too hot in the practices, but they will be starting up front for the ones that didn't get dropped to the rear. As for Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, they're going to have some work to do. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and all that stuff.